Hello to everybody out there. My name is Travis Thompson, and I'm a senior at the University of Louisville. I'm here to talk to you all a little bit on behalf of the College Democrats, which I'm a member of, just about my story, how it ties in to the world, what's going on with politics right now, and perhaps to you. I'm 26 years old right now, and I started off at the University of Louisville at the age of 18. I graduated from North Hardin High School. I was a recipient of the Wilfred Porter Scholarship. Came to the University of Louisville. I was really young, thought that the world was in my hands and nothing could stop me. All my life, and I've been an overachiever. Fortunately, that attitude that I have has helped me out a lot. I had just got back from Chicago. I was there for 30 days after winter break, and I got back to my dorm. I stayed in Miller Hall, settled in. On January 14, 2003, I was in my dorm room, and I suddenly began to feel some chest pains. I had no idea what was causing it, and I went next door to my roommate. His name was Vince Doty. If you're watching this, Vince, hey. I asked him if he had any Pepto-Bismol or Rolaids or something that could help me because I thought I had gas. However, he gave me some Pepto-Bismol. I took it, and I had no relief. What I ended up doing is going to the shower. I said I'm going to take a shower, get myself together and just go to sleep. However, when I got in the shower, I began to lose the ability to be able to maintain my weight with my legs. So I was in little cubicle showers on the floor, collapsed, and I didn't know what was going on. It felt like it was a million people on my body just stabbing me with pins and needles. So of course I was, didn't have any clothes on. I was in the shower, and I said, how am I going to get myself out of this situation? After about 45 minutes, I realized that I'm going to have to crawl out of here. So I ended up using my hands to dress myself as far as picking my legs up, putting my clothes on. And right when I got my clothes on, all of a sudden, I could walk again. Got up, ran to my dorm, asked my friend, called on the phone, told her that, hey, something's going on with my body, and we need to go to the hospital. She said, meet me downstairs in the lobby. Well, I was getting dressed. It was January 14th, very cold, and I was still wet from being in the shower. And when I bent over to put my shoes on, it felt as if I got shot in the back. And just like that, I was paralyzed again. So I really didn't know what was going on, but the numbness started off at my feet, slowly rose up to my chest, and all I could think about is I was in Chicago with my family for 30 days, and I just got back, and now I'm in Louisville by myself alone, and I'm about to die. That was the first day of the rest of my life. I was carted off in an ambulance at Miller Hall. I didn't know at the time what was wrong, but now I know that my life will never be the same again. They took me to the University of Louisville Hospital, did a whole lot of research on me, and at the end of the day, they tested me for everything that I had, and the results showed that I was healthy. So the test they were doing really was just to cancel out what it wasn't. The final diagnosis was transverse myelitis, cause unknown, and the prognosis was that I would never walk again. Now, when I first heard transverse myelitis, I said, transverse my what? So I'll just give you a brief explanation. Transverse myelitis is a neurological disorder that is very, very rare. And in fact, it was only one doctor that saw me who actually had any encounter with it, and his encounter with it was when he was in the Vietnam War. He was a doctor there, and a lot of the young Vietnamese kids were just passing out paralyzed. Well, when they told me that, it was one of the hardest things in the world because I had just graduated high school. I thought, I was doing pretty good for myself, and just like that, you mean, I can't walk again? I can't move my legs? I had to do a lot of soul searching. And I just told myself, I can't give up. And fortunately, I had a very, very good support system. One of the most influential people who spoke with me was my grandfather. My grandfather basically said, Travis, we don't know what's happened to you or why it happened, but you still have your brain. And right now, it's up to you what you're going to do with it. At the time, I didn't want to hear that. I kind of wanted to hear, oh, I'm sorry, what's going on, he's a straight shooter, and he told me what I needed to hear. Fortunately, it took about a year and a half for me to really digest what he told me. So once they realized that there was nothing they could do to help me at the University of Louisville Hospital, they transferred me to Fraser Rehab. And the Fraser Rehab, of course, is a rehabilitation facility for people who have mobility issues or other neurological issues. At Fraser Rehab, it was very tough as well. I've always been an athlete, and I had no problem, doing physical activity. However, 3 months before my injury, I was bench pressing 315 pounds. And the first day of physical therapy, I could not even sit up on the side of a bed. And I had to tap a balloon back and forth and had a 1 pound weight in my hand. I soon realized that I have to take baby steps. So my physical therapist's name is Angela. She was very, very tough, but I needed someone like that. She challenged me, and with that said, I can talk about what happened to me for a long, long time. However, as of today, I'm able to walk, I'm able to move my legs, I'm independent, I live on my own. Life is pretty good, and I'm in my last semester, and I'm about to graduate. After I finished rehab, it took about 2 years to get back in school. I always told myself I wouldn't go back to school until I was 100% perfect. 2 years came, I realized the world doesn't wait for you. I was getting older, and hey, something needed to happen. I got back in school, went to Elizabethtown Community College, and while in ECC, I received my associate's degree. And after that, I could have went to any college in Kentucky because I have government assistance through vocational rehab, but I chose to come back to the University of Louisville. It was a tough decision. In the beginning, I asked myself, why would I even make this decision? The last time I was here, I was getting carried out in an ambulance. However, deciding to come back was the right decision because the first couple of weeks, first couple of months, it was tough. I received a lot of hurt, and it just brought me back to a time period that I had left in the past. But the hurt is the reason why I came. It was my personal road to redemption, and it was the way for me to finally face my past. Life has been good here. I've learned a lot, met a lot of amazing people, and you just learn your life is what happens when you're making other plans. So the life that happened when I was planning other things has turned to be pretty good. My story can relate to you all in many different ways. It's all about adjustment. You don't have to be paralyzed or go through what I went through to understand or learn something from my story. It's basically like this. What are you going to do when your plans go astray? Are you going to adjust and make a new plan? Or are you just going to fall back and retreat? I'm very fortunate. At the time of my injury, I didn't have health insurance, so I had no way to pay. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, my injury was so severe that I qualified for Medicaid and eventually Medicare. Lots going on TV right now as far as government assistance, government being responsible for healthcare, but I'm a living testament that the system does work and can work. I look and say, if I did not have the assistance that I did have to pay for the steroids to combat my inflammation in the spinal cord, or to pay for the physical therapy, years in physical therapy, it's a good chance I wouldn't be here right now. And you know where I'd be? If even alive, I would be at home, good chance in a bed or in a wheelchair, watching TV, collecting Social Security. That Social Security is something that somebody has to pay for. However, while I still am on Social Security disability, it's a good chance that I'm not going to be on it too much longer because I'm about to graduate, which means I'm going into the workforce. Therefore, I'll have earned income, and that earned income will be taxed, and somebody else will be able to benefit from my tax dollars. I'm proud to say that I have no problem getting taxed because the system has helped me. And now the system is not perfect. It's not perfect by far, as we can all know, but it does help. And sometimes I ask myself, if I got injured again today, would I even be qualified to get assistance? I don't know. But I do know that my heart goes out to everybody who's not covered with insurance because I know the feeling of having your whole life fall apart and then you have bill collectors calling you because my Medicare didn't come into place 6 months later. I'm just here to say I'm glad that I'm alive. I'm glad that I can give back to another individual. And I'm glad that while there hasn't been a resolution as far as healthcare now, I'm glad we're discussing it. Because while it's not in the Constitution that healthcare is a right, but I believe that a nation should be judged not by its brightest and best, but how it treats those who are vulnerable and those who slip through the cracks. There are some very, very bright people who just happen to have bad luck and catch a raw deal. But with the right assistance, they can and will become productive members of society. Like I said, I'm Travis Thompson. I just, wanted to come speak a little bit. If y'all ever see me on campus, say hello. I'm a nice guy, and I love diversity of opinion. And one last thing, I'd like to thank for the Kentucky College Democrats for giving me this opportunity to share my story. I really appreciate it.